Hello there, very good evening to you. You're watching Primetime News on News First. I'm Saturanga Pawarachi.
And I'm Dasniya Thada. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
3 new governors sworn in before President Maithripala Sirisena. Kirti Thennakoon sworn in as the governor of Uva province. Archbishop of Colombo Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit requests the international community not to interfere. Tense situation at the independent television network after protesters obstructed the entry of 2 deputy general managers to the network premises. MP Dallas Alha Perima says Sri Lanka is the only country where defeated candidates can enter parliament.
Taking a look at those stories in detail now, 3 new governors were sworn in before President Maithripala Sirisena today.
The swearing-in took place at the Presidential Secretariat. Ranjit Kirti Thennakoon was sworn in as the new governor of the Uva province. He served as the Executive Director of Campaign for Free and Fair Election. He was also a civil activist and the Executive Director of the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka. Senior lecturer Dhamma Disanayake was sworn in as the governor of the Sabaragamuwa province before President Maithripala Sirisena today. Dhamma Disanayake, who is the convener of the Democratic Collective, serves as a senior lecturer of political science and public policy at the University of Colombo. Dr. Sunil Raghavan was sworn in as the governor of the Northern Province. Suren Raghavan is born an author and a researcher and serves as a university lecturer.
Speaking at an event held recently, the Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, shared these views on foreign intervention in domestic affairs.
We must note that in Sri Lanka, various communities and religious groups live together in harmony and brotherhood. We have never been harassed as a religion. At times it is possible for misunderstandings to lead to certain incidents. When human beings are varied, such situations will arise. However, certain individuals are attempting to highlight only these incidents and portray to the world that there is a terror in this country where religious diversity is not accepted. This is truly disappointing. Problems can be solved from a spiritual background. Therefore, do not say that we are a malicious nation and that we have a malicious culture. We cannot accept that. We must not put forward such misplaced allegations to create divisions upon divisions in our country and have a people fight against each other with weapons manufactured in those countries. They must respect the identity, integrity and nature of our country. This is what we expect of them. If there are problems with peace and coexistence in our country, then we will solve it. You need not interfere. We must find solutions for it. The religions we follow provide spiritual guidance necessary to find these solutions. This exists especially within Buddhist philosophy. We must live as such. If you wish, you can assist us, and if you do not, kindly mind your own business. Do not create turmoil here. We must say this to the world.
The subject of a new draft constitution has taken centre stage at present. The Tamil National Alliance MP MS Sumandiran has announced that a draft will be put forward before the 4th of February.
While several committees were appointed in the recent past with regard to drafting a new constitution, the reports of several subcommittees and the interim report of the steering committee have been made public. The Constituent Assembly, a committee of the whole parliament, has held about 10 sittings regarding a proposed constitution. However, there are no reports that a draft has been compiled. A report of the committee of experts was to be tabled in parliament on the 7th of December.
The legal path which has been prepared around the division of the country will result in splitting this country into 9 countries. It will be split up through the constitution itself. This program will not lead to reconciliation in any way. On the other hand, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is carrying this out with much haste because of electoral promises made to the TNA. Why are these promises being made? To obtain power. This is lust for power. As a result of this lust for power, policies are being planned to transform the entire country into a state of slaves. They want to turn this into a game of hide and seek. From the perspective of our country, the greatest misfortune is that we do not have a government today that can make decisions. They are under various powers, especially the Tamil Alliance. The whole country has seen the behavior of MP Sumandiran. This program has been put together and is being implemented now to satisfy the local and foreign forces who worked to bring this government to power. There is no agreement in the steering committee regarding the devolution of power, the presidential system or a new electoral system. The report and a draft must be submitted to the Constituent Assembly. Cabinet approval must be obtained. It must be submitted to all 9 provincial councils. It must go before a people's referendum. What are they saying now? The country is being divided. Who is behind the spread of this conspiracy? The politician who is making up lies. They will not be able to bring forth a constitution on the 4th of February. The message given by MP Sumandiran is that an effort is being made to divide the country. We are disappointed by this. They are hoping to brew hatred between the Tamil people and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, not to bring forth a new constitution. No matter what they do to attempt to break the bond between President Maithripala Sirisena and the people of the North, we must clearly say that those attempts will fail. They are sustained by creating demons. I must state clearly that we will not bring forward a constitution that divides the country, neither we will raise our hands for such a constitution. We will not allow the removal of the prime position afforded to Buddhism. Even if such a proposal is put forward, we will not raise our hands for it. We are not afraid or indebted to say this. We have a spine. That is a baseless lie.
It now appears that the mechanisms put in place to draft a new constitution are failing. While an office was established within Parliament complexes to assist in this process, a senior official of the Attorney General's Department was appointed as the additional secretary to this office. Inquiries made by Newsfirst has brought to light that this office has been in operation since the 26th of October. The official in question had returned to service at the Attorney General's Department. While the report of the Committee of Experts has been drafted, the sensitive issues that stem from it have not been resolved yet. This indicates that it will be near impossible to complete the drafting of a proposed constitution through the procedure promised to the people prior to the 4th of February. Does this mean that a constitution is being drafted outside of this procedure, unbeknownst to the people? Are preparations being made to introduce such a document through secretive means? The people remain vigilant.
The Constitutional Council convened in Parliament today under the chairmanship of Speaker Karu Jayasuriya.
A statement issued by the Speaker's office noted that the primary order of business at today's meeting was to consider the President's nominees for vacancies in the apex courts. The statement reads that the members of the Constitutional Council unanimously approved the President's nominee for the vacancy on the Supreme Court bench created by the retirement of Justice Eva Vansundara. The Constitutional Council also reconfirmed nominations that the President had previously made for the positions of 2 justices of the Supreme Court and a justice of the Court of Appeal. The statement concludes that as such, following the nominations made by the President and confirmation by the Constitutional Council, appointments must now be made for 4 vacancies in the apex courts.
In an exclusive interview with News First today, Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe noted that the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka at the time cannot abrogate responsibility with regard to the bond scam.
In an article published in a Sunday newspaper this week, Charlie Mahendran, the father of former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran, had questioned the manner in which his son had been portrayed as a criminal. In his article, the elder Mahendran had questioned what evidence exists to justify such a portrayal.
Auditor General, you calculated the losses that had been caused as a result of wrong decisions made by former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran. His father has now written an article claiming that he has been accused with malicious intent in order to use him to attack a political party. You are one of the accusers. Do you have a response to this? As the Auditor General, the point that I have to raise is that when there is financial misappropriation at any institution, it is the Chief Accounting Officer who is held accountable. Willingly or unwillingly, it is the Chief Accounting Officer who is responsible for any mistakes that have been made at the Central Bank. This incident extends far beyond that. There is no discussion here since what happened has been proven with evidence. I cannot say whether this will also be proven or disproven before the law. However, as per the inquiry I conducted, what I can say is that the Chief Accounting Officer is directly responsible for this.
The stance of the Auditor General is also underscored in the audit report on the bond scam. Why is Charlie Mahendran unable to comprehend this?
Civil society organizations are calling for an immediate investigation into the unauthorized departure of a private jet from Trincomalee yesterday.
A private jet carrying investors from China, Singapore and Hong Kong lands at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka. The group of investors used the same jet to travel to Trincomalee with the assistance of the former governor of the Eastern Province, Rohitha Bogulagama. The investor holds talks with the former governor in Trincomalee. The group of investors then leaves the country from Trincomalee. Who was it that authorized the private jet to leave the country from an unauthorized port in violation of civil aviation laws and immigration and emigration regulations? What did these mysterious investors discuss with the former governor of the Eastern Province? As far as I am aware, the group arrived in a private jet and they say they were authorized to take off from the China Bay airport. But such authorization had not been given. There may be some shortcomings, but I will rectify these as soon as possible through legal means. Throughout the recent past, there has been a great deal of uncertainty surrounding the Singapore trade agreement. Against this backdrop, a group of Singaporean investors landed in Colombo, then went to the airstrip in Trincomalee and held discussions with the former governor Rohitha Bogulagama and his son, following which they departed the country from Trincomalee. We have grave suspicions regarding this incident. Is this legitimate? Why were these investors in Sri Lanka? What are the contents of these trade agreements? Was this subject to broad debate in Parliament? There are grave concerns regarding the national security. We want to know why these investors were here and what they discussed. We call on the government to immediately carry out an investigation into this. If certain persons are involved in this, whether they are former governors or politically powerful persons, legal steps must be taken immediately.
Still on local news, Transparency International Sri Lanka has released a statement commenting on the decision made by the Presidential Secretariat to appeal against the order issued by the Right to Information Commission.
TISL states that it is disappointed to learn of the decision made by the Presidential Secretariat to appeal against the order issued by the Right to Information Commission, directing the disclosure of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's assets and liabilities declaration for 2015 to 2016. The initial applications for the asset declarations of the President and Prime Minister were filed in February 2017. The President's office had refused to disclose the information requested, prompting TISL to appeal to the RTIC. In their statement following the Commission's ruling, TISL recognized the right of the Presidential Secretariat to appeal the RTIC's order. TISL also highlighted the fact that such a challenge would undermine the President's stated commitment to transparency and accountability, and the government's commitment to ensure the public's right to access asset declarations.
One person was killed in a shooting that took place at the Mulleriava junction in Angura. The deceased was a 22-year-old youth. Police media spokesperson SP Ruan Gunasekara said two unidentified gunmen arrived in motorbikes and carried out the shooting. Till in local news, a committee was appointed by President Maithripala Sirisena to look into the restructuring of Sri Lankan Airlines.
President's Media Division issuing a communique said that the committee will be headed by State Minister Eran Wickramaratne. The committee included Professor DBPH Disa Bandara, Dr. Harsha De Silva, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Dr. Dharmaratna Herath, V. Kanaka Sabhapati, LIS Jayaratna, Viraj Dayaratna, Mahen Gopallava, Vasanta Kumarasiri, Ajit Tamarasekara and Thisuri Wanyarachi. President's Media Division added that the committee had been mandated to submit recommendations to the President within 2 weeks after collecting proposals and information.
A heated situation arose at the Independent Television Network premises today amidst the protest staged by the employees. The protest launched by the employees of the ITN over the last few days intensified today as a group of employees had obstructed the entry of two deputy general managers of ITN to the network's premises.
Employees of ITN have been protesting over the past 7 days, alleging that money from a fixed deposit of ITN have been misappropriated. The protesters voiced their strong opposition on the suspension of 13 employees by the ITN management. According to our correspondent, the protesters blocked the main entrance and the 13 suspended employees voiced their opposition outside the entrance. It is reported that the chairman of ITN has been inside the premises while the protest was carried out. A tense situation arose when 3 deputy general managers tried to enter the network premises amidst the protest. They were granted entry with the help of the police and anti-riot squad. After this, an employee who was injured was hospitalized. The protesters continued the protest while the chairman and the deputy general managers were still inside the premises. At 11:30 in the morning, the Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando arrived at the network premises. The Defence Secretary remained at the premises for about 40 minutes and engaged in a discussion with the protesters.
The
Defence Secretary came and spoke to us directly. He said that a special representative will come tomorrow to give a solution to this crisis. Even after the Defence Secretary left the premises, the protesters carried out the protest, further forcing the chairman and the deputy general managers to leave the premises. Why do they bring back these 5 deputy general managers who allege the female employees of being sex slaves? Why do they bring back these not qualified over 60 years of age DGs? Those 5 are responsible for downgrading this channel from number 1 to number 7. Those 5 people are responsible for the misappropriation of 680 million rupees in the company. Why can't the chairman understand this? Is she also a part of it?
The district Balamandala meeting of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana was held yesterday.
Sri Lanka Freedom Party has a Chandrika faction. 6 of those in the faction were those ones who left. There are around 3 more phases that are seem to be trying. Do you know how they look like? They look like the Sena caterpillars. How did the final week of 2018 begin? The cabinet of ministers was sworn in. The politician who criticized the state leader bowed down and got the appointments. Some accused that President Maithripala Sirisena did not treat them well. Who are these people? They are the ones who were defeated and yet entered parliament through the national list. What was the biggest mistake made in our parliament? The biggest mistake was appointing those who were rejected by the people to MP and ministerial positions. How many do we have like that? 13. There is only one country in the world where you can get defeated in the elections and still enter the parliament. That is the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka.
Before we move on to other local news, we have just received information that Shanta Bandara's name has been gazetted as a member of parliament to fill the vacant post of MLAM Hizbullah, who has resigned to take up the post of the governor of the Eastern Province. Shanta Bandara's name has been gazetted as a member of parliament. In our local news, Chief Minister of the Western Province Isura Devapriya expressed the following views while leaving the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon.
චන්ද්‍රිකා කුමාරතුංග මහත්මියව අනුශාසක ධූරයෙන් ඉවත් කිරීම පිළිබඳව මොනවාරි කතා බහක් තියෙනව නේද?
No, we didn't actually talk about it. I hope she will get on the right path. We do not worry about the fact that whoever that is within the SLFP working against it is an organizer or an advisor. When I met Madam Chandrika at the local government elections before the 26th of October, I told her to make up her mind to work with the Rajapaksas if she was able to work with Ranil Wickremesinghe. We hope that she will not go against the party, but she will not be able to do all what she says. The president has already decided to face the future elections as a wider alliance.
මැතිවරණ වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න.
දැන් චන්ද්‍රිකා මහත්මිය ශ්‍රී ලංකා ජාතිපක්ෂයේ පිරිසක් අරගෙන එක්සත් ජාතිපක්ෂය යන්න යනවා කියලා මාධ්‍ය වාර්තා කරලා තිබ්බා.
අපිට
We cannot confirm it right now, but what I see is that she is very much interested in making Ranil Wickremesinghe the president without appointing someone from our party to that position.
තියෙනවා වගේ තමයි මට නම් පේන්නේ.
ඔය එවැනි අයව අනුශාසකයෙක් තවදුරටත් තියාගැනීම
නෑ එවැනි තත්ත්වයක් තුලදී අපිට
The Central Working Committee will make a decision. If that happens, we will have to remove her even if she doesn't like doing it.
කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවනේ.
The Youth Front of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party convened a meeting at the party headquarters today.
I spent 3 years as the secretary to the president, but I resigned to take part in active politics in the future last Friday. The experiences I gained in the time is akin to a degree. I'm happy about it.
As the Youth Front, we stand with the leader of the SLFP. Some people try to magnify the opinions of one or two people as a massive issue, but there is no such issue in the SLFP. No, if I take a stand tomorrow, there will be people who stand with me, but that doesn't mean we are going to break away from the party. Some people want this party to break apart. I do not think Madam Chandrika would want to do any damage to the party again. If you think that the UNP has been strengthened, let's go for an election.
The President spoke about the reasons before the entire nation, including Ranil Wickremesinghe. Even today, we are on the stance that Ranil Wickremesinghe should be removed. We don't have to say it. Ask a UNP about this.
The cabinet meeting took place at the Presidential Secretariat this morning.
The meeting took place at around 9 this morning under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The most important cabinet paper that was approved by the cabinet was the one presented to join 3,850 coaches.
ඇමතුමානේ කතාවක් යනවා මේ කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලය යලිත් අලුතෙන් බඳව ගන්නවා කියලා යලිත් වෙනසක් වෙනවා කියලා ඒ කතාව කොහොමද? මම දන්නේ නැහැ.
What I know is that I cannot answer those questions. I think you will have to ask the president.
ඇමතුමා පසුබෙල മന്ത്രിවරු චෝදනාවක් කරනවා ඔබතුමාලාට ඒ කියන්නේ ඇමතිවරුන්ට දැන් එතුමාලාට සාධාරණයක් ඉෂ්ට වුන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කොහොමද? නෑ මං හිතන්නේ විවිධ මත තිබු.
I think there were different opinions among our MPs, and I think the issues were resolved. Our party is not like any other party. It is democratic. Our party leadership was able to form and strengthen the government with all these different opinions. We will definitely win the upcoming presidential election.
එතකොට අපේක්ෂකයා කවුද? සර් අපේක්ෂකයා?
ඒකත් අපි කියන්න ඉස්සරහට. ජන උද්ඝාටන කාර්යාලය අපි ප්‍රකාශ කරන නිකා එකපාර කිව්ව වැඩන්නේ.
The 149th model village constructed under the Samata Sevena Udagammana program was vested with the public in Julgamua, Hambantota today. The event was held under the auspices of Deputy Leader of the United National Party and the Minister of Housing, Construction and Cultural Affairs, Sajid Premadasa.
The village named Saranigama consists of 20 houses. The village, built with a cost of 16.1 million rupees, has proper entry and exit routes, access to clean drinking water and electricity. Several events, including the distribution of house ownership deeds to 20 house owners, granting Visiri housing loans to 150 low-income families and Sondurupiyasa housing loans to 148 families, and distribution of spectacles were held today.
I'd like to tell you that with the strength of Mangala Samaravira, we will serve justice to all graduates with employment at the next budget. Many graduates who meet us ask what is going to happen to them. They say that their parents faced many hardships to educate them and that they got the opportunity to enter universities after studying using kerosene oil lamps. This is what graduates in the country have to say. I'd like to tell them that no matter who treats them wrong, the President, Prime Minister and the Finance Minister of the Government of Good Governance will provide them jobs at the next budget proposal.
Party supporters were harassed during the 51-day period. Our King Vesantara has also given them houses. What can we do? We have to do what the king wants. If not, we know what punishments to give. We cannot do anything because our leader is a bodhisattva. Our legs have been chained, or we will not be afraid. I don't think these things will happen again.
The Sinhala and English translations of a book authored by late D. Easwaran, who was a leading entrepreneur in the country, was launched yesterday. The event was held at the Kadiration Hall in Bambalapitiya.
The event, which saw the participation of religious leaders, members of the Easwaran family, as well as other guests, was held under the patronage of Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. The translations were released to mark the first-year death anniversary of D. Easwaran. The book tells the story of the stone Buddha statue in the Rambudagalla area in Kurunegala.
When we are carrying out a business, we know we expect three types of profits. First is the financial profit. There should be a social service that is carried out through the business. We must protect the environment that belongs to the unborn future. Since all these components were in the business of Mr. Easwaran, he was a businessman with a vision. I see this statue as a statue that will create national and religious reconciliation in the country in the future. We must have national unity to go forward as a country. The Sinhala, Tamil and the Muslim races must unite. If not, there is no future for the country. That is my strong belief. The extremism must be taken out of the country. Then the country can move forward. We see the fact that religious leaders, including the Mahasangha gathering here after 1 year since a person has passed away, is a fact and an appreciation to the services carried out by Mr. Easwaran to religious reconciliation. When there were barriers to religious reconciliation, Mr. Easwaran made several sacrifices and we always appreciate it.
Mr. Easwaran created cultural history in this land. Some people who understand the cultural value have met here this afternoon, but I have a feeling, Honourable Speaker, this should be a national day as it were. He upheld our culture, our national integration, and he also paved the way to the younger generation towards compassion, understanding, and peaceful coexistence. Therefore, he belongs to the whole of Sri Lanka and to the whole of human family.
The book contains details of the knowledge he received when carrying out the project of the statue. He wrote this in Tamil. We have launched the book in English and in Sinhala. In a year, it is now available in all three languages. We created a stone statue because of the Buddhas of Bamiyan statues in Afghanistan. The support that was rendered by Mr. Easwaran can be considered as an example to the whole world.
That's all the news we have for you this evening. I've been Chaturanga Poarachi.
And I'm Dasniya Thava. Good night.